Hello, my name is Sunny. I'm an unemployed baddie, and this is my journey on trying to rediscover myself through art and pursuing dreams that I've always had since I was a child. So one of those is to be a painter. And today you guys are gonna come with me to finish up a couple of my paintings. I have like a bunch of them that I haven't done yet, because I get like super excited about the idea and then I just put the sketch up, paint it all yellow, and then just like leave it to marinate for a little bit. But I do want to share a couple of paintings that I have finished. I have these two paintings right here. One of them is a self-portrait, and then another one is a portrait of a person named Bisan. They are a Palestinian journalist that I painted, and this was like on their video where she was thanking God for the sky, the sun, the water, the community of people, and most of all, a rainbow, and just the opportunity to still be alive to see it. So I thought that was really pretty. I wanted to be able to like put it down in history in some type of way. This is my painting of me. It's called Alive Outside, to oppose or juxtapose the phrase dead inside. I feel like a lot of people can relate to like feeling they've been through so much and it's emotionally drained them of what makes them feel alive and human. And I wanted to be able to shift my mindset at the place I was when coming up with the concept of this painting, integrating more language of being alive and still here and still living, rather than like admitting defeat and just giving into like the feeling of dread from having to suffer through so much pain. Yeah, really proud of this one. This is like one of the first self-portraits I've ever made that I like really connect to and just like genuinely feel proud of seeing. Yeah, I really wanted to be able to come on here and just like share where I am with my journey, and I just still feel like a little shy talking to a camera, but yeah, I'm just hoping to find some community and solace and just learning to grow and become better humans. So let me take you guys on my process and how I go through painting.
I was fortunate enough to go to an art school from elementary school, middle school, until high school, but I had given in to other interests, which I don't necessarily regret, but I've always had this doubt for myself that I could paint. I had pursued acting, dance, and though I love both of those art forms even now, painting has just offered me a different experience with myself and processing my emotions in the world around me. I feel like a lot of artists that are like me, where they have had a love for a certain medium their whole life but don't believe in themselves, just pick it up every now and then and continue with the doubt that follows you all throughout adulthood, and you end up at a part-time job or even a full-time job, and it's not as fulfilling as you'd like it to be, but you feel that's all you could do in that moment. And I would do small things, make charms or paint little paintings for various coworkers, and it got to a point where I felt like I could be doing more than what I was. And also having enough of serving other people for a living. There would be instances when I'd be working and I'd put so much work and effort into serving customers, and the job in itself that just wouldn't pay a substantial amount. And I thought I could just be putting this effort into myself if I had put in all this effort that I'm putting into this part-time job or this minimum wage job. I'd be able to sustain myself eventually. And since making that decision, most of the struggle has been pushing myself through self doubt and really believing in my capabilities. We see it in like kids' movies all the time where you just gotta believe in yourself and you can achieve anything. And honestly, as corny as that sounds, that mantra is really something to live by. Painting and art has taught me so much about my resilience and human resilience as a whole. It's taught me to allow room for mistakes and that imperfection is a result of our individuality. And that makes it all the more special because whenever you paint something or you create something, it is uniquely you. It's your vision and a testament to your hard work and your ability to see things through. And what I've learned is that throughout life, you're going to have many ops that don't believe in you, that will prey on your downfall. And some of them will even be your own very friends, sometimes partners, and your own family. But it's really important to not be your own op, to not give in to external voices that don't know what it's like to live in your head, that the voices of people who don't even believe in themselves. The only person that you have to really prove it to is yourself. And don't betray yourself by not believing in your ability to succeed. And when it comes to the voices or the words that you tell yourself and the words that you hear from other people, it is really important to surround yourself with language of adversity or language of success, because if you believe that you will fail and you surround yourself with people who believe they are failures as well,
It just looks so silly.
y'all are just going to keep passing off this failure energy, quite honestly. And in the opposite sense, it's true as well, because people who are very confident and self-assured don't surround themselves with people with a low vibration, a low self-esteem. Low confidence isn't an ingredient in the recipe to success. You have to be your biggest fan and your biggest believer in order to become the person you want to become. And that's not to say that successful people aren't insecure. I feel that no matter how far you get into life, there will always be insecurities that linger within you. It's more so that successful people are able to look beyond those insecurities in themselves and truly accept that those insecurities aren't them as a whole. They are another part of you. When I dream about following my passions as a child, I often glamorized it in a way where once I'm in that time of my life, I will no longer be struggling, or I'll no longer hate myself, or I'll no longer feel like I wasn't good enough. And it's honestly quite the opposite. Not in the sense that I hate myself, but learning to dismantle that shame that lives within my body and accepting that life is a balance. Self doubt is a symptom of learning, and that we constantly live in the context of our own lives. Like, there is a reason why I had felt so much shame and so much discouragement towards myself. There is always a why and a root. Humans are creatures of learning. We learned how to love ourselves through the examples of what we were shown throughout our lifetime. And if the examples of love and self-love that you see from others is to pick yourself apart, to dislike who you are, the way you look, and where you are in life, you'll also feel that way towards yourself. You'll adopt those thought processes. Those thought processes. You'll adopt that mindset. And for whoever needs to hear it, you do not deserve to hate yourself. And that self-love, or any love for that matter, is not perfect. You won't feel good 100% of the time. But what it means to truly love yourself is to love yourself through those struggles. Again, with not betraying yourself and not giving up on yourself no matter how hard it gets. Sometimes growing and learning to love yourself comes with having to let go of people who can't do it for themselves. Some people can't accept you if they can't even accept themselves for who they are. It is difficult to choose in between loving someone who can't love themselves and losing yourself in that process, or losing that person and loving yourself instead. But in the end, the only consistent person you'll ever have in your life, the only person that will ever be there for you forever, is yourself. And that's not to discredit besties or valued individuals in your life that do show up for you emotionally and love you. It's more so the fact that we'll constantly be losing people and we'll never really know when it will happen. And our lives will only ever be lived through our own perception and our own thoughts. And you might as well be super nice to yourself and accept yourself for who you are. And it definitely isn't easy, but neither is living a life of self-hatred and constant dissatisfaction. With growing up, I've come to realize that a critical self-image isn't radical self-awareness. It's literally being your biggest bully ever. And I've decided that I want to be my best friend, my biggest supporter, and to have a fulfilling relationship with myself. And just tying that all back into art. When finishing a project and seeing how much effort you've put into creating something, into expressing yourself and documenting your life and who you are, it really is getting to decide who you want to become. Like, you become your own blueprint and project. It's like you're genuinely the author of your own book, and you can decide to give in and succumb to the negativity that has surrounded your life, or shape your reality through adversity and overcoming your struggles. Either way, it's really up to the individual, and it's never too late to do anything. Every moment you live is another opportunity to become the person you want to become, the person who you feel you're meant to be. And if you've made it this far through my yap session, I hope that you've been able to take anything away from what I said, or that it's helped you in any way. And thank you for being here and watching me paint. And if you are someone like me that wants to pursue their dreams, do it by any frickin' means. Don't let anyone make you feel silly or incapable of finding success in doing something that you love. The only person that can decide on your failure is you by giving up on yourself and not allowing yourself to let your dreams be a reality. I guarantee you, any person that you've ever looked up to, whether they are an artist or not, has had their own doubts in their own success and have pushed through and ultimately have become a person that you now look up to. We all have fears that hold us back in some way, and sometimes it's about taking the leap and letting yourself have that day one, that first embarrassing piece of yourself, that beginning that is so scary to start on. But eventually, if you keep at it, you'll have a progression that you may not notice at first, slowly building, and time will pass no matter what. And if you keep at it with whatever you're working towards, eventually you'll get to a point where you're able to look back and recognize the progress that you've been able to make for yourself. I used to get really tripped up on the fact that I wasn't good enough as another person, or my skill level isn't where I want to be. But the only person you have to compare yourself to is yourself. And you'll never have that opportunity to compare yourself if you never let yourself try and allow yourself to have those mistakes. Allow yourself to have that starting point and a day one to even compare yourself to. And I know sometimes a lot of us can get caught up into the thought of, oh, I should have done this years ago so I'd be at a point where I need to be now. And that's just not your reality. Sometimes you have to really take a hard look at where you are now, and also accept that it is never too late, and it will never be too late for you to become the person you want to be. And shifting the mindset from, if I start now, I can be there in 5 years, definitely helps a lot, instead of thinking what you should have done in the past. You have yourself now, and that's all you could need to get where you want to go.
I wasn't able to get through all of my paintings today, and I was only able to finish this one, as we can see, which I'm still really proud of. I'm learning to like pace myself a little more and take breaks when I need them, because I can get all burnt out. But yeah, we were able to do Biscuit in the cat painting, so maybe we'll do either Chia or Bao next. Yes, but thanks for being here, thanks for sticking around, and thanks for watching.